Mia stood by the window, watching the rain fall in thin sheets, feeling a heaviness in her chest. She had moved into her new house only a few weeks ago, and everything still felt strange. Too quiet, too empty. Her husband, Alex, had been traveling for work, leaving her alone with the silence and memories that clung to every corner of the room. She missed the warmth of a conversation, the simple laughter that used to fill her home. She sighed and turned away, the weight of loneliness pressing down on her. She heard the door creak open and footsteps approaching, soft but deliberate. "Mia, are you okay?" It was Ryan, Alex's best friend, a man she had known for years, but only recently had they been spending more time together. He had a calm presence, a gentle smile, and an energy that made her feel seen in a way she hadn't realized she craved. She tried to smile back, but it came out weak. "I'm fine," she said, though the word felt hollow. Ryan stepped closer, holding a small bag in his hands. "I thought you might like some company tonight, and maybe something to brighten your mood." He didn't explain much, but Mia could see in his eyes that he cared. She felt a flutter of something unfamiliar, a warmth that made the cold in her chest melt slightly. She nodded, letting him place the bag on the table. Curious, she opened it to find a carefully chosen dress, soft, elegant, something that seemed to match her style perfectly. "I thought you might like this," Ryan said, his voice low and earnest. "It's something to remind you how special you are." Mia felt her throat tighten. She didn't know why, but his gesture stirred emotions she hadn't felt in a long time. She ran her fingers over the fabric, imagining herself wearing it, feeling confident, alive. The thought made her heart race, and she realized she had been starving for attention, for connection, for someone to notice her beyond the routine of life. Ryan watched her quietly, not pushing, not saying more, letting her absorb the moment, and it was in that silence that Mia began to feel a dangerous mix of longing and trust. The evening went on, the rain outside creating a soft rhythm against the windows. Mia tried to focus on mundane tasks, arranging flowers, lighting candles, trying to distract herself, but Ryan's presence lingered in her mind, in the space between her thoughts. It was simple, small moments. The way he poured her a cup of tea, the way he laughed at her jokes, the way he seemed to understand her without needing words. Each moment chipped away at the walls she had built around herself after years of routine and distance from Alex. She felt alive again, but also confused, her feelings pulling her in directions she didn't expect. Ryan suggested a walk in the small garden outside. The rain softened into a drizzle, and the air smelled fresh. Mia hesitated at first, worried about getting wet, but something in his look made her nod. They stepped outside, the soft mud beneath their feet, the cool breeze brushing against their faces, and for a moment, everything else disappeared. The world felt narrow, focused only on the two of them. Mia laughed at a puddle, and Ryan laughed too, a sound that made her heart flutter and ache. At the same time, she hadn't realized how much she had missed feeling carefree, feeling seen, feeling connected. As they walked, Ryan shared stories of his travels with Alex, of funny moments they had shared, and Mia listened, fascinated, feeling a warmth grow in her chest. She felt drawn to him, but also aware of the lines she couldn't cross. She wasn't sure what she wanted, only that she felt alive in a way she hadn't for months. She didn't notice the time passing until the sky darkened further, signaling nightfall. They returned inside, soaked but laughing, and Mia felt a strange comfort in his presence. He helped her dry off, draping a towel over her shoulders, and the simple touch sent a shiver down her spine. She knew she was treading dangerous waters, but she didn't want to let go of the warmth, the attention, the care. Back inside, Ryan suggested they watch a movie, something light, nothing serious. He set it up while Mia tried to calm her racing heart, sitting close on the couch, the warmth of his arm brushing hers. Mia felt a pull she couldn't explain. She wanted to feel safe, wanted to feel valued, wanted someone to notice her in ways Alex had grown too busy to see. She felt a twinge of guilt, a reminder of her vows and the life she had promised. But the longing inside her refused to be ignored. The movie played, but they barely watched it, their conversation drifting to memories, dreams, and quiet confessions. At some point, Ryan suggested she try on the dress he had brought, just to see how it feels. He said softly, respectful, yet insistent in a way that made her heart beat faster. Mia hesitated, unsure why, but curiosity and the desire to feel admired won over. She went to her room, changed, and stepped out, feeling the soft fabric against her skin, feeling the elegance of it. She felt nervous, aware of the intensity in Ryan's eyes as he looked at her. He didn't say much, only smiled. And in that smile, Mia felt seen, appreciated, alive. Her heart raced, and she realized how starved she had been for attention, for connection, for someone to notice her as more than a routine figure in someone else's life. Ryan stepped closer, just a fraction, offering a hand to steady her, and Mia felt an electric jolt at the contact. She knew she was walking a fine line, feeling emotions that belonged to her heart, but in that moment, it didn't feel wrong. It felt like life, raw and honest. Mia's breath caught as he leaned slightly closer, and she felt a pulse she couldn't name. The world outside the room seemed to disappear, leaving only the warmth, the care, and the silent question of what might happen next. She realized she was about to cross into a territory she had never imagined, and a thrill ran through her, equal parts fear and longing. And then, the sound of the door opening downstairs made them both freeze. A shadow fell across the hallway, a reminder of reality, of Alex returning sooner than expected. Mia's heart pounded, and Ryan's hand hovered near hers, unsaid words lingering in the space between them. The moment was electric, suspended, a cliffhanger in the quiet night, leaving Mia to wonder how quickly everything could change, how fragile the moment of warmth and attention could be. The tension hung heavy, a silent question of what choice she would make, and whether the longing in her heart would survive the storm that was just beginning. Mia froze for a moment, her heart thundering in her chest. The shadow downstairs disappeared quickly, and she realized it was only the cleaning lady, arriving earlier than usual. She exhaled, trying to steady herself, but the warmth of Ryan's presence still lingered, a soft tension in the air that made her pulse race. She looked at him, unsure what to say, and Ryan gave a small, reassuring nod. "It's okay," he whispered, his voice low and steady, and in that sound, Mia felt her courage return slightly, though the lingering fear of crossing a line made her stomach twist. Ryan suggested they sit and have some tea, to calm down, to distract themselves from the sudden adrenaline. Mia agreed, still feeling her hands tremble. She poured the tea with deliberate care, feeling the warmth in her palms, while Ryan watched her quietly, giving her space, but not letting the tension fade completely. Every glance he gave, every small gesture, made her heart leap. She felt a strange mixture of comfort and danger, knowing she shouldn't feel this way, yet unable to stop. They sat in the living room, the tea steaming between them, and Ryan began to talk about Alex, his childhood memories, his fears, his worries. Mia listened intently, fascinated, feeling herself drawn deeper into his world. He spoke with honesty, vulnerability that few ever shared, and she realized how rare it was to feel so connected to someone. She wanted to listen forever, wanted to remember every word. Every laugh, every pause, made her feel closer to him, made her forget the empty spaces in her own life. The conversation was simple, mundane even, but it carried a weight of intimacy that made her heart ache. After a while, Mia noticed the sky darkening further, clouds covering the moon, casting shadows across the room. I should probably check the mail, she said, needing a reason to move. To break the tension building inside, Ryan stood, offering his arm, and Mia took it hesitantly, feeling a spark at the contact, a warmth she wasn't ready to name. Outside, the wind had picked up, rustling leaves against the walls, the garden glistening with raindrops. They walked slowly, and Ryan pointed out small details, a birdhouse, a flower bud, a pattern in the cobblestones. Mia laughed softly, feeling herself relax, feeling alive again. She realized she had missed these small moments, missed feeling seen and appreciated, missed the thrill of attention from someone who truly noticed her. Back inside, Ryan suggested helping her organize the bedroom closet, a mundane task, but Mia agreed, sensing a need to stay busy, to channel the energy swirling between them as they sorted through clothes and accessories. Ryan picked up the dress he had brought earlier, holding it with care. "You really look beautiful in this," he said softly, and Mia felt her face heat up. She tried to focus on the task, but the words lingered in her mind, stirring a longing she didn't fully understand. It was a tension she had forgotten existed, a reminder of being admired, of being wanted in the simplest, most human way. The closet organized, Ryan suggested a break, offering a glass of wine, and Mia accepted, feeling the warmth of the wine spread through her. She sank onto the bed, and Ryan sat beside her. Not too close, but close enough for the nearness to matter. They talked quietly about books, music, small dreams, each word a bridge connecting their worlds. Mia realized how much she had been craving connection, craving someone who saw her, truly saw her. She felt a quiet guilt, a reminder of Alex and the life she had promised, but the pull of human need, of warmth, of care, was stronger, drawing her toward Ryan in ways she couldn't name. After some time, Ryan suggested she try on a few more outfits, just for fun, to see what made her feel confident. Mia hesitated, knowing the tension between them was delicate, but curiosity and the desire to feel admired overcame her caution. She went into her room, changing into a simple, elegant dress that flattered her without being showy. When she stepped out, Ryan's eyes widened slightly, a soft smile playing on his lips. He didn't say anything inappropriate, only admired her presence, and that admiration made Mia's heart flutter. She felt alive, noticed, beautiful, feelings she hadn't experienced in months. She realized how much she had missed being appreciated, how lonely her days had been without someone noticing her essence. As she turned to put the dress away, Ryan's hand brushed hers, accidental but electric, sending a jolt through her body. She froze, unsure how to react, and Ryan pulled back slightly, sensing her tension. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice full of care. "I didn't mean to startle you." Mia shook her head, trying to calm herself, but the warmth inside her refused to fade. She wanted to tell him how she felt, wanted to confess the loneliness and longing that had been building inside, but the words caught in her throat, trapped between fear and desire. Then the phone rang, shattering the quiet. Mia jumped slightly, and Ryan moved to answer it, revealing that it was Alex, calling to say he would be home earlier than expected. The reality of her life crashed in, sudden and harsh, reminding her of the boundaries she couldn't cross. She felt a pang of guilt, but also a strange anticipation, knowing that the return of her husband could change everything. She and Ryan shared a look, a silent understanding of the tension that lingered between them. The clock was ticking, and every second felt charged with unspoken possibilities. Mia watched Ryan leave the room for a moment, and she felt the emptiness return, but now with a new ache, a yearning for the connection she had just experienced. She realized that her feelings for him were growing, though she didn't fully understand them. She was caught between loyalty and desire, between comfort and the thrill of attention. The phone rang again, Alex's voice on the line, reminding her of reality. and she knew the choices she would make in the next few hours could change everything. She felt a shiver of anticipation and fear, her heart pounding as the evening stretched on. The night was far from over, and Mia sensed that the storm of emotions had only just begun. As she set down the phone, Ryan returned, a small, concerned smile on his face, and for a moment, the world outside disappeared again, leaving only the quiet intensity between them. Mia felt drawn to him, and the pull was undeniable, but the consequences of her emotions weighed heavily. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself, knowing that the next steps would be difficult, thrilling, and life-changing. The night hung in the balance, each second loaded with tension and possibility. Leaving the story poised on the edge of something she couldn't yet name, the house felt quieter than usual as Mia waited, her hands trembling slightly as she smoothed the dress Ryan had brought. She kept glancing at the clock, aware that Alex would be home soon. Her heart pounded, but it wasn't just fear. It was the strange mix of excitement and longing that had been building for days. She realized she had changed in a way she hadn't expected, noticing the smallest details of life, of Ryan, of herself, and it frightened her. Ryan returned from answering the door, holding his jacket, and Mia felt a flutter at the sight of him. He smiled, a quiet warmth in his eyes. "He'll be home any minute," he said softly, and she nodded, feeling the tension coil inside her. The room seemed smaller, the air thicker, every breath charged with unspoken words. She didn't know how to act, whether to stay calm or give in to the feelings that had been building, but she knew one thing. This moment, however brief, had changed her. Alex's car pulled into the driveway, the engine humming through the quiet evening. Mia froze. Ryan's hand brushed hers accidentally as he helped her adjust a pillow, and they both flinched, a small jolt reminding them of boundaries and reality. The door opened, and Alex stepped inside, tired from his trip, unaware of the storm of emotions that had been brewing. "Mia," he called, and she smiled weakly, trying to steady herself, hiding the thrill of the night from him. The house smelled of tea and rain, a reminder of the calm moments she had shared with Ryan. Ryan stepped back subtly, giving her space, and Mia felt a pang of longing, realizing how much she had come to rely on his presence. She walked to Alex, greeting him warmly, feeling the familiar comfort of his voice, of his laugh, yet sensing a quiet distance, the invisible space that had grown while he had been away. Alex noticed her energy, brighter than usual, and frowned slightly. "You've been busy," he said, and she nodded, unsure how to explain the mixture of relief, excitement, and guilt that swirled inside her. The evening continued with small, ordinary tasks, preparing dinner together, setting the table, sharing stories about their days. Yet Mia felt a quiet tension underneath, a reminder of the emotions Ryan had stirred. She couldn't ignore the way her heart still raced at his glance, or the soft warmth she felt when he lingered near. Every interaction was layered with unspoken words, a silent acknowledgement of the connection they had forged. She felt torn between loyalty and longing, between comfort and the thrill of feeling truly seen. After dinner, Mia suggested they watch a movie, hoping to distract herself. Alex agreed, and they settled into the couch, the room softly lit, shadows dancing on the walls. Ryan lingered nearby, offering blankets and small gestures of care, and Mia noticed again the way his presence filled the room without needing words. She felt the tension between duty and desire. Her heart split between the familiar love of her husband and the awakening attention Ryan had brought into her life. The movie played, but Mia barely noticed, lost in the quiet ache of longing and connection. At one point, Alex excused himself to make a phone call, leaving Mia and Ryan alone for a few minutes. The silence was heavy, loaded with the things neither dared to speak. Ryan gave her a small, encouraging smile, and Mia felt a rush of emotion. The room seemed smaller, the air warmer, as if the house itself held its breath. She realized she could no longer ignore the feelings that had been quietly growing. A pull towards someone who saw her, appreciated her, made her feel alive. The realization scared her, but it also exhilarated her. Ryan gently touched her hand, not in a way that crossed a line, but just enough to convey understanding, support, and care. Mia felt the shiver of electricity at the contact, her heart racing. She wanted to speak, to confess, to explain the longing that had been building, but the words stuck in her throat, trapped between fear, guilt, and desire. Ryan only smiled, patient, giving her time to process, to feel. Without judgment or pressure, it was a quiet intimacy that spoke louder than words. A bond of shared understanding and unspoken emotion. Alex returned, and the moment shifted. Mia quickly withdrew her hand, but the warmth lingered, reminding her of the connection she had discovered. The rest of the evening passed in quiet conversation, laughter, and small touches of care, and Mia realized how much she had been missing, how much she had longed to feel noticed, valued, and appreciated. She felt conflicted, yet alive, aware that her life could change depending on the choices she made in the coming days. The storm of emotions had not ended, but it had become something she could acknowledge and navigate. Later, when Alex went to bed, Mia and Ryan cleaned up together, the house quiet except for the faint sound of rain on the windows. She felt a sense of peace mixed with longing, aware of the emotions that had been stirred. She realized that the attention, the care, the quiet intimacy she had felt with Ryan was not about betrayal, but about human need, about the craving to be seen and appreciated. She understood that she could feel these things without acting recklessly, and that gave her a strange calm, a sense of control over her heart. Ryan gathered his things to leave, and Mia felt a pang of sadness, knowing she would miss the presence that had awakened so many emotions. He paused at the door, looking back at her. "You're stronger than you know," he said softly, and she felt a lump in her throat, realizing the weight of his words. The tension between them remained unspoken, but it was no longer a threat, only a quiet acknowledgement of feelings that had been safely expressed and respected. Mia smiled, a small, genuine smile, feeling gratitude for the connection, the care, and the reminder that she could feel alive again. As he walked out into the rainy night, Mia closed the door and leaned against it, letting herself breathe. She knew the days ahead would be complicated, filled with choices and reflection, but she also knew that she had rediscovered a part of herself, a spark that had been dormant for too long. The storm of emotions had passed, leaving clarity in its wake. She felt ready to face her life, her marriage, and her heart with honesty and courage. The night was still, quiet, but inside Mia a warmth lingered, a promise that life could still surprise her, and that connection, care, and genuine attention could come when least expected.